And when I put that, what I just talked about for the past 23 minutes, I put that in juxtaposition with what happened in Greenville, North Carolina last night, where Trump met with American Nazis, a whole fucking crowd of them. It's unbelievable to hear Americans screaming about other Americans. Send them home? Do you realize what happened last night in Greenville? Lock her up is one thing. Build the wall is something else. But screaming about duly elected members of Congress, 4 women, all 4 of whom are American citizens, 3 of whom were born here, just like the fucking white people, the Yahoo asshole fucking white people who sat there in that auditorium with Trump screaming, send them home. These dumb sons of bitches were screaming, send them home. If somebody said that to them and tried to force them out of this country, what do you think they would do? That's beside the point. Here's the point. There were several hundred or several thousand, I don't know what the number was, Caucasian Americans, men and women, young and old, sitting in that auditorium last night with Trump at the podium. And did you notice the 15 or 20 SS guards around him? Huh? All those people sitting in that auditorium with Trump at the podium, setting Representative Omar up for assassination. And the Americans, the white, I couldn't believe how many blonde women were sitting behind him. And these are the same women who, when they hear about trouble in the Middle East, through their preachers or Fox News, they immediately start doing their nails and their hair because this is the one they're convinced that will bring Jesus back. Because in the Middle East is where Armageddon is supposed to happen, or the battle between Gog and Magog, or some fucking crazy shit that these white people have learned from their pits of madness called churches. In the book of Revelation. Oh my God. But there they were behind Trump. And like like Kathy pointed out to me, those people who sit behind this Nazi fucker are handpicked for their Q factor. How they relate to the camera, how the camera relates to them. But there they were. Americans screaming for Americans to be thrown out of the country. Germans screaming for Germans to be thrown out of the country. German Protestants and Catholics screaming for German Jews to be fucking burned in pits. Do you realize how close we are? Oh, he's making the Hitler comparison again. You're fucking right, I am. Don't be blind. These were Americans screaming to get rid of other Americans. How close is it from that to saying anybody who's not a white Christian, get them, burn them? And these fuckers are screaming because the Republican office holders are screaming because we call a concentration camp exactly what the fuck it is. A concentration of people, children, adults, who came here seeking asylum, and we are going to, one way or the other, burn them. Either legally, physically, metaphorically, but we want them dead. You saw those people last night. You saw the Trump supporters screaming their shit. Wednesday night, screaming their shit. And the Nazi Trump standing there with that Mussolini smirk on his face. With that Mussolini smirk on his face. Jesus Christ, this is evil personified. You know, Trump can be painted as a party boy who likes to attack and rape young girls. He and Epstein 25 years ago. And that's the mark of a vicious criminal. But Trump has taken it way beyond that. Trump is evil. He is evil personified. What he says, how he targets people, how he demeans them, how he riles up the Nazis who come to listen to him, the white people who are just itching to see death camps again, even though the ones around Trump have never seen them. But they think it's a good idea. You can tell when they're screaming, make them go or send them away or whatever the fuck they were screaming the other night. Identity politics, huh? Isn't that what Democrats have been accused of doing for a couple of decades now? You know, we have our black issues and our gay issues and our single people issues and our heterosexual issues and our this issue and that, identity politics, right? Republicans, the American Nazi Party has identity issue. If you're white, you're all right. If you're black, get back. If you're brown, get out of town. Trump has made clear in the past past week, 10 days, that his reelection campaign will feature even more verbal violence aimed at targeted groups in this country than his 2016 campaign. Now, Trump's violence and his Nazism has already turned the Republican Party into the grandchild of the German Nazi Party. This is the next generation of Nazis. You're seeing it being born. You realize that? You're watching how a movement of Nazism that winds up with millions of people dying, how it is formed, how it's put together, how it starts out as sort of, oh, lock her up, ha ha ha, isn't that funny, to make them go, send them away, put them in cages. And you watch the political parties of Germany with Hitler's rise, how one after another they subsumed themselves under Trump's cloak of Nazism because it was making Germany great again. And if you can find those films, and they're all over the place for now, they may go down a memory hole soon. But look at the films. Look at the faces of the people. And then look at the faces of the people at Trump rallies. Listen to Trump. Now, very few of us speak fluent German, Nazi German. But if you do speak German, listen to what, or read an English translation of what Hitler was saying in the 1930s with those massive rallies. And then listen to what Trump is saying. And even better yet, take a look at the videos, the films, of Hitler at a podium and Trump at the podium. Hitler in front of a huge crowd at these Nazi rallies. Trump in front of a huge crowd at these American Nazi rallies. And if one looks at that stuff and doesn't see an absolute similarity. No, not duplication. If you don't see it, if one doesn't see it, one is choosing to be willfully ignorant and blind. What the fuck does it take? Does Trump have to show up with a Nazi armband with a swastika on it? Would that get people's attention? It's the same fucking thing. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.